of thing. It's like, oh, we let you design your own major because it's got to fit you and everybody's an individual and there's loads of jobs out there. Yeah, you know what that actually means? They don't care how they get your money. What's up, guys? So I have got a question here on Instagram, and this person writes, "Hey Casey." There was an exclamation point. "My name is Josh. I saw one of your VinWiki videos where you talked about your education briefly. I'm currently attending university, and I'd like to get into industrial design to hopefully design cars later on. I can't afford to go out of state, and my university does not have industrial design as a major. So I have to build my own major, and I was wondering if you had any suggestions or advice. Thanks, Josh." Josh, yes, I do. So let's go through it. Okay, you and I are very similar in this regard. That is exactly what I wanted to do on an academic level when I was young. Now, truth be told, had I had more mentors that actually knew how things worked in the future, I might have gone a different direction. But I didn't. I went the exact same way you basically are. I went to Ohio State University. I was really good at fine art. Obviously, I was really good at engineering and engineering drawing and science and fabrication, everything like that too. But for whatever ridiculous reason, I wanted to do automotive design and car design. But since my entire family only ever went to Ohio State, I never thought to go anywhere else. I didn't. I was a stupid kid. I never even looked at anywhere else, like a real design school or something else. Didn't, like I said, no other mentors or exposure. So, like you, going to your university and not necessarily being able to afford to go to an out-of-state one, I was in your same shoes. And they didn't have automotive design, they had product design. And truthfully, Ohio State's product design, or at least at the time I went to it, was horrible. It was total garbage. Honestly, man, I did more in a year of high school, because I had a great teacher, a great mentor there, than I did in like 2 years of this program. And I remember, and I got to tell you my story, and I'll get right to yours, I promise. I remember one semester in this one higher level class, they were going to give us the assignment. We're finally going to get to design something, do something in the sculpture studio, render it, work with teams, everything. And we had to design a bathroom scale. Okay, which isn't really exciting to me because I would think to myself, oh, who cares? It's a stupid bathroom scale. Just make it a pressure sensitive mat and like a tiny readout, and who cares? Besides that, you know, if you need to weigh yourself that bad, go to the doctor and, you know, like ride a bicycle, you know, eat a salad. Okay, but I digress. So anyway, bathroom scale. And I was going through this and I was getting frustrated because it didn't remotely challenge the level I was at. And I met with the head person in the school for product design, and I said, look, allow me to do a project at the skill level I'm at. Allow me to do something that's actually challenging, that I'll get more out of, that'll work with my career direction. I will meet all of your requirements academically. I will meet your timeline and everything. And they said no. Really, they said no. Paying to be at school, and I can't design something at my skill level. So of course, what did I do? Nothing. I BS my way through the entire semester, and I designed some stuff the night before it was due, and I Ferris Buellered my way through that day, and I got a B+. So doesn't that tell you there's something wrong with it? Anyway, so I get it. And then after that, I ended up designing my own major, just like you're talking about doing right now. And I'm really glad I did, because that particular major was so weak, it wouldn't have done anything for me. So I ended up taking a lot of classes after that, and everything from robotics, engineering related, computer design, and I spent loads of time working with mechanical engineers with all the different SAE type programs and stuff, learning fabrication and just sucking as much information as I can to learn. Because remember, education does not start or end with school. There's these amazing things called libraries, and there's smart people that might mentor you, and lots of opportunities. And obviously you can go out and get jobs and things like that. So just remember, do a lot. Now, regarding your specific questions, how you can learn to do industrial design, automotive design, product design. Okay, so first of all, you are at your school, and that's the one that's going to work for you, okay? Because it's in state and you can afford it. Now, I have to caution you about designing your own major and how that works for schools. Schools sell that as this like magical avant-garde kind of thing. It's like, oh, we let you design your own major because it's got to fit you and everybody's an individual and there's loads of jobs out there. Yeah, you know what that actually means? They don't care how they get your money. I'm serious. Here's how I'm going to back that up. In the last 5-6 years, I work with nothing but students with Genius Garage and helping them get jobs. I talk to industry leaders. I see what's going on in academia. And the fact of the matter is, when you go out there to get hired, hiring people, they're not there to really see the forest for the trees or pay that close attention to you. And if they see a weird major that they don't understand, that's not really going to help your case, unless you can hit them over the head with it being so good. And really, if the major that you designed is so good, the school might be offering it already. Just saying. Just keep that in mind. I don't know how you structured it. But the most important thing is obviously you growing as an individual and having talent and skill. But it doesn't matter if no one will give you a chance. So you got to have a good-looking portfolio. You've got to present yourself well. You got to speak well in interviews. You got to send a lot of applications out there. And your major has to be structured in such a way that makes sense to hiring people that, let's face it, the corporate world and companies and stuff, they're risk averse and they don't want to hardly look at anything, okay? So remember what I'm telling you. Now, let's say that you were able to design it and you got a lot of great classes and you got a good name so it won't freak out hiring people. Okay, the things that are important in design, in automotive design, and some things that aren't seen in school is, first of all, I'm telling you this, don't get arrogant. Universities have a terrible way right now of breeding arrogance in both designers and engineering students. Even though you may be fantastic at drawing and rendering, or maybe doing sculpture, or maybe you're great, theoretical of engineering, doesn't mean you can actually build anything. Doesn't mean you can get along in the workplace. So just remember that, okay? Be confident in your abilities and always strive to get better and better and better, but always be willing to grow. And remember, there's always gonna be somebody better out there than you. Universities don't prepare people across the board for industry. They just don't. There's a pretty big gap between academia and industry, and that's quite frankly why I created Genius Garage, to help that. So you're rendering, okay? You need to be able to draw, and you need to be able to draw accurately what's in your mind fast and make it good looking and exciting, okay? Speed is important. It doesn't matter if you're the world's best renderer. If it takes you 3 weeks to do one drawing, you're worthless. No offense, but you'd be worthless for industry. They need it now. The other talent that you need as a designer is listening to people. You need to know what it is they're thinking of or imagining, even if they can't communicate it that well. So you're going to need to learn how to ask them questions. You almost need to be like an art psychologist. Does that make sense? And you're also going to have to get over the frustration that a lot of people out there in the world don't have the ability to visualize mechanical systems or conceptualize or move things around in their head or see it at all. And then even if they're imagining something that's great and you draw the perfect, most beautiful thing ever, they're going to be like, I don't know. I thought it should be pointier or more exciting. And then you'll get all frustrated because they're idiots. It doesn't work. So, remember those things. So your rendering skills have got to be fantastic. You need, let's say if we're talking about a car, okay, a car effectively fits within a rectangular brick-light structure. You need to be able to instantaneously render that in any proportion with effectively the camera focal point being closer or farther away. That's important, just right now, without doing multi-point perspective. So you need to drive yourself. And if by chance your school doesn't have the best program, the best teachers, the best mentors, then you've got to be your own best mentor. You've got to be your own biggest cheerleader as well as your own worst enemy to make yourself better, 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 better. Get it? Okay, so if you can render fantastically and you have excellent skill both with a computer or as well as on paper and such, whatever the media is, you also have to get into the sculpture, okay? So studio model, I bet it's like Siobhan, I can't remember. I always forget details when I don't need to know them. But actual modeling clay is the type of clay that effectively doesn't harden. You heat it up, I don't know, like 140 degrees or something where you can work with it. It's softer, and as it goes to room temperature, it's harder. So then you can work it with sculpting tools and such. You need to get familiarized with that and do it. I don't know if they're really going to help you out there. I mean, when I went to school, the modeling studio was garbage. They didn't give us opportunities. They didn't. It was just. It was horrific. It was bad. So there's books out there. Okay, find your own that talk about automotive design. There's some YouTube videos out there. In fact, I'm thinking about doing a YouTube video showing some of the clay model techniques and where you can start off with in automotive design. So even if your school and your classes doesn't want to let you do automotive stuff, well then, you know, do what they want to do, their projects, but that doesn't mean you can't do your own projects. That doesn't mean that you can't be building your own awesome portfolio, but you've always got to challenge yourself. Keep relevant. Go to the auto shows. Keep up with trends on Instagram, whether that's supercars and exotic cars or racing cars, or it's you're making like recyclable cars for the mass populace, because it doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to build supercars or fuel efficiency cars or something. The other thing are shoes. Okay, that was disgusting, I know, because I'm in a shop. But shoes currently and fashion trends can be your best friend in automotive design. So, because there's loads of designs happening with shoes, a lot faster than cars, and you might get some interesting inspirations for them, and you also see where trends are going before it hits the automotive industry. So that's kind of a neat thing there too. My other tip for you is you need to learn how cars work, how they're built, how they're produced, mass produced. All the techniques. So is this the typical stamped steel box that we've been making since the mid-1930s that's a unibody construction? Or is it carbon fiber? Or is it like a Corvette where it's funky plastics and like glass reinforced polymer blah blah body with a, you know, aluminum whatever chassis or something like that? Is it electric? Is it, you know, a fuel cell? All these things. So the more you learn about that and the more you get it, the better it's going to make you as a designer. Also, if you can transition from design to engineering, take engineering classes, be really good mechanically, learn the engineering programs, if you can speak the lingo and understand mechanical engineers and what's going on, that's going to make you a lot more valuable in industry. Because the problem with industrial design is it's within fine art. And fine artists, oh man, dude, they usually can't build anything, okay? And the things they built are not built well, okay? And the trouble with engineers are they don't know how to conceptualize or do anything. Let's just say there's not a lot of engineers trying out for musicals, you know what I mean? Or getting a lot of phone numbers when they're going out, you know, in the evening, you know what I mean? So just remember where designers and engineers leave off. And if you can be more skillful from one to the other, that's gonna make you a lot better too. But I may make some videos here in the future just with some automotive design techniques, the studios, the clay models and all, but that's something to think of. But just remember, a school is a business, they want your money, and they're gonna tell you all kinds of nice things you wanna hear to make you feel good right now, but will put you in debt for the future. So it's up to you to know if you can actually get a job with this. So for instance, find the places you might wanna work for. Make contact with them right now. Ask them point blank, what do I need to get hired here? What do you look for? What does the ideal candidate look like? And then go be better than that. And of course, learn to know when somebody's BSing you or they won't tell you or not, or for real. And find a mentor. See if you can find some neat automotive designers out there. One great place, this is gonna be my last tip, but a great place for you to meet automotive artists who actually make money at being an artist, or even designers, and some of those people know designers, is the world of Concours d'Elegance. You know, those super fancy invitation-only car shows that are usually like pre-war cars and are on golf courses and are all like, ew, that kind of crowd? Yeah, that's the one place where automotive artists can actually make a little money selling it to an affluent crowd. And oftentimes you get automotive designers from the past that kind of get like celebrity status. So that's a great place to go meet really talented people and people that may just command big businesses and car companies. So those are all the tips I have for you right now. I hope this was a bit helpful, and hope you guys will like it. Subscribe, and I'll see you next time.